Hey everyone, it's your friend Namita. Before we start this video, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm new and I'd love to keep making interesting, fun, and informative videos for you. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you 6 best ways to stay motivated and productive while working from home. Happy New Year everyone! I don't know about you, but I'm really glad that we're finally here in 2021 after the whirlwind of a year that we called 2020. I started off the decade with really high expectations, but I'm sure, like most of you out there, everything changed when the pandemic happened and hit us. And so through the year, we've had to make many adjustments and many shifts. I just started working in 2019. Less than a year into the working world, I had to start working remotely. As a person who gets really distracted and can lose their focus super easily, I found these 6 tips that I'm going to share with you really helpful to help me stay productive in a highly demanding job while working from home. Step number 1. And this, I think, is one of the most important steps. Switch on your do not disturb button on your phone. Trust me, guys. As someone who is so digitally connected, we tend to receive messages from our friends, from notifications, from apps all the time, and it gets more distracting than ever. So what I felt has been super helpful for me is I just switch on my do not disturb button almost all the time, and that allows me to really stay as focused as possible until my natural instincts kick in and I start using my phone. Although I already consume content on my phone so much, this at least helps me stay away from it at least for this much longer. So that's the first tip I have. Along with that, I think you should definitely undo all your app notifications. That was a change I made in 2020 after watching the documentary The Social Dilemma. I don't know how many of you have checked it out. It's on Netflix. One of the best and most eye-awakening documentaries I've watched in 2020. I removed all my app notifications, and that way, even when I get WhatsApp messages and Telegram messages, I don't get the buzz. Just because I know I'm gonna anyways check the platform really frequently. I check Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram all the time. I think any message that is super urgent, the person can call me. Otherwise, I'll probably get to it within the next 30 minutes or so. Step number 2. Stand up every 30 minutes and get a quick break. I know some people can say that you can work for 1.5 hours and then have a 30-minute break, but for me personally, having quite a short attention span, I realized that I need to stand up and stretch every 30 minutes, even if only for a few minutes. It helps me stay productive, and that short break to really go and get a glass of water, make yourself a cup of tea, or just, dance around and stretch. That's been really helpful in allowing me to come back after my quick break and be more productive than I was before. So I really think this is helpful. There are many productivity hacks out there. You can just search Google and you'll see some tips include working for 25 minutes straight while locking your phone and then having a 5-minute break. Some people say, like what I mentioned, 1.5 hours and a half an hour break. But for me personally, I think approximately 30 minutes of working and then I take a 5-minute to 10-minute break if I have the luxury of time. That's been the most helpful for me. Tip number 3, make a to-do list every single day. Guys, I can't tell you how helpful and how underrated this tip is. It seems like a very obvious one, but really, I feel like the days that I go by without a to-do list or a checklist, those are the days that I end up whiling away a lot of my time thinking, what do I have to do? In reality, most of us, especially when we're working, we're super busy, we have many things to do, but not everything is on our urgent priority list. And so once we're done with that 1 or 2 tasks that has sat in our head the whole time, we tend to forget what else there is that is also pending and important. What I like to do actually the night before, when I'm about to sleep, I'll just go and make a list on my Telegram saved messages. That way it allows me to switch off from work and really get into a resting mode at night while being sure that everything that was sitting in my head has been penned down on my phone and I can get to it the very next morning. Sometimes, if it suits you better, you can also make a checklist on the day itself. But what I realized is that when I'm up at 8 something in the morning, I tend to be really groggy. I tend to not have my mind straight. I need a cup of coffee. I need a little bit of time to wake up. And so doing the thinking the night before often helps me just get up and get going. That makes the most out of my day and I can start really early in the morning rather than sitting down on my desk in the morning itself, spending half an hour to 1 hour to really jot down the things that are important. And when I actually get down to the grind, it's already 10 plus in the morning. Tip number 4, keep a tall glass of water and some healthy snacks right beside you. What I realized is that when I get bored, I like to go to the kitchen. I'm sure most of us have that habit as well. I'll open the fridge and I'll try to see what is it that I can nibble on. I'll go and refill my little glass of water, and that gives me an excuse to waste some time. And more often than not, I don't just go there, get my stuff and come back. I go, I walk around the house, I check my phone, I sit on the couch, and these are things that you can very easily snap out of your life to make the most out of your time if you already have your items with you. I keep a tall 1-liter bottle of water. It's my favorite bottle that I use all the time, but if you'd like, you can keep it in a tall glass. That way, most of your time going to the kitchen and back gets saved. And along with that, you also have some snacks beside you. I like to keep some nuts and fruit. That's a way that I can keep snacking, and that's my distraction rather than going all the way to the kitchen and getting the same thing. Step number 5. Close all unnecessary tabs on your laptop and switch off all unnecessary communication apps. What I realized is that we are constantly connected on WhatsApp and Telegram all the time, and it becomes really distracting when you're trying to work or you're in the middle of a Zoom or Microsoft Teams call, and then you just see these notifications popping up. Worse still, if you're presenting to someone and it just happens to be on your shared screen. It's most useful to switch off these tabs on your laptop as well as switch off the notifications on your phone, so you can really stay focused rather than being distracted by the constant amount of content coming to you and people trying to message you. I get it, some of us are really popular and it gets really difficult to resist the urge of looking at the messages once you receive them, and that way, by switching off your phone, you don't have to actually go through the messages. You don't have to go through the urge until you anyways end up on the platform. That allows you, or me personally, to stay much more productive and much more focused while I'm at a task, and specifically while I'm in a meeting. That same rule applies to any unnecessary tabs that you have on your browser. It's really easy when you're working from home to just have Lazada or Shopee or Zalora or any of these e-commerce shopping sites open so that you can keep looking at it whenever you're having a moment of distraction. Unless it's for work, I would suggest switching off those tabs, and I don't expect it to be off all the time. Sometimes we get distracted, but as and when you remember this tip, my suggestion is to really just go and switch it off. You don't know how much time you end up wasting just browsing through, like their algorithms. I'm not sure how it works, but it for sure keeps me really distracted, and I can end up spending an hour or 2 hours even trying to shop and finding the best deal out there, and there are constant sales going on. So for the sake of your wallet and for the sake of your productivity, I would suggest keeping that switched off. Tip number 6 is to always have soft background music playing on your Google Home or on your Bluetooth speakers. This is something that I think is really underrated, and it might suit your personal taste, but for me specifically, having instrumental music, not with any lyrics, such as lo-fi beats, chill out hits, sleepy piano, these are some playlists that I have constantly on replay on my Spotify. They really help me focus. I'm sure there's some research out there that shows you that having music in the background can allow you to cut out all distractions and really set your mind on your task and focus on it. So you can try this out for a while if you haven't yet. Some people prefer working in silence, but for me specifically, when there's television outside in the hall or when there are people talking in my house, I think having this music really helps me cut out all noise and just focus on my work, because the music is what I end up listening to. If you'd like, you can go to my Spotify. I think it's just my full name, and you'd see all the playlists that I have saved over there. Feel free to try them out. I think it'll be really helpful. You can also find some long playlists available on YouTube, although there might be some advertisements, but better than nothing, you end up focusing. The final tip I have for you is to have a reason to stay productive. More often than not, the word productivity and being motivated are words that are just thrown around, especially at the start of the year, to make you feel like you're achieving something. But what I feel really helps me keep to all the tips that I've shared above is when I have a reason to stay productive. If you have 24 hours in the day, there's such an urge to waste some of that time in the middle of the day and then get back to it later, and you end up spending more time on your desk working. I feel like when I set something to do at the end of the day, for example, I have a workout class booked, I have a dinner plan with a friend, or even just want to spend time with my family, or have some time for myself to read, these are reasons that really keep me pushing myself to work even smarter during the day so that I can knock off at my desired time and get to do the rest of my life. If you have a real reason to stay productive, what better reason could there be, right, than the reason that you set for yourself? I hope these tips have been helpful for you. It's taken me quite a few months to learn these tips, and I'm for sure not doing it all the time, but I try my best to remember them, and when I do, I feel like I have a more productive and overall happier day. If you like this video, please like it on the channel, and please subscribe to my channel as I'm just starting out creating content, and this would be really helpful to help me keep creating videos. Alright, see you soon!